Hey everyone, COE33 here. I'm in the upstairs game room, the retro room, and of course I'm hanging out with my buddy Oscar. We're chilling up here. We've got the game room all fired up. The pinball machine's going. We were playing a little pinball earlier. I've got the iCade going with the Midway Arcade app. Of course, there's this empty spot in the game room still, and in our video talking about this project, you guys had a lot of great ideas of what should go here, and I definitely have some interesting ideas to think about, and I don't know, it's going to be tough to decide what am I going to put there. There's so many possibilities, but whatever it'll be, I'm sure it'll be something pretty awesome. I've even got the old slot machine fired up right there, so that's cool. But today's video is about the one and only Sega Genesis. Now, I got a Sega Genesis as a kid on Christmas, and ever since I've loved not only the Genesis, but anything Sega. I'm definitely a Sega fanboy, and I have been since I was a kid. And I love collecting for the Genesis. It's one of our, I would say, better collections. And today is not only going to be a collection video, it's going to be an update video, because you can see, if you follow our videos and you've seen our collection videos in the past, I've cleared up a bunch of room in the middle of the shelf there. Now you see all those loose games? Those games are going to get complete. I did a little shopping. I was shopping on eBay and I bought some inserts, I bought some boxes, and we're going to go ahead and complete all those games, and then we're going to do a little collection video. And we also have Gargoyles going on the CRT right there, which is an awesome game, and definitely a lot of fun. So why don't we go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to open up these boxes, share with you what I bought, then I'm going to go ahead and complete those games, and then we'll get right into the collection video. Alright everyone, here's the haul. Check it out. Pretty cool. So I bought a bunch of empty Sega Genesis boxes here, and I'm definitely happy with this purchase. They're in really good shape, and most of them have their hang tags, so that's very cool. From a different seller on eBay, I bought this box for Sunset Riders, so definitely stoked on that. And then I would say the big score here are all these original inserts that I bought. And I found a seller on eBay who bought out a old rental store, and he has hundreds of these inserts, these original inserts for Sega Genesis. And I'm definitely happy with this purchase. They're in really good shape, and I got a whole bunch of them. I mean, I definitely had to spend a pretty penny to get all these, but it's worth it because I've been wanting to, well, not complete, almost complete these games. I still need to track down manuals, but it's a step in the right direction to completing these games. So we got Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage and Revenge of Shinobi and Kid Chameleon and Chicon and Street Fighter 2, Shinobi 3, all kinds of awesome stuff. So very stoked on that. And then the games over here are the ones I picked up in our latest On the Hunt episode. So all this stuff is going to get put together and then put on the shelf, and I'll go ahead and organize everything and get it all set up. And then we'll get right into the collection vid. Alright guys, there we go. One almost full Sega Genesis shelf. Pretty awesome. That was a rewarding little project because a lot of these games that I, well, not completed, but at least got boxes for, are some of my all-time favorites. So Streets of Rage 2 and Golden Axe and all those. It's nice to finally have boxes for a lot of these games. And I'm definitely stoked to be able to look at the artwork. You know, when I'm sitting here chilling out in the retro room and I want to play a little Sega Genesis, I can grab the box, put the card in, check out the awesome artwork, and enjoy a little old school Genesis action. So that's cool. And I think we should just get right into sharing the collection. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to start at the top left here. I'm going to work my way through the collection. We'll talk about the games, and it should be a good time. So why don't we get started? All right, starting at the top left here, we've got Sonic and Knuckles. And of course, this one's in one of the later release cardboard boxes. Early on in the Genesis, they all came in these clamshells, and then eventually I assume to save money they started using these cardboard boxes, which I'm really not a fan of because they don't hold up very well. This one's actually in pretty decent shape, I would say, considering, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? And that's Sonic and Knuckles, awesome game. And then moving over here, we got the original, the OG, Sonic the Hedgehog, and I got this packaged in with my system back in the day. I got a Genesis on Christmas. I forget what year. What was it, 1990 when this came out? I can't quite remember. And yeah, I've been a huge fan of Sega ever since. And this game, of course, is a classic, and it still holds up today. I think I really enjoy this original Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just so much fun. I don't know if that's pure nostalgia or just is such an amazing game that even today it's a lot of fun. And you can't go wrong with little Sonic the Hedgehog. And of course, they upped their game and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out, and this game is even better than the first one. It's quite amazing, really fun. Level design is just incredible in this game, and yeah, just a classic. And then Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came out, and they were still doing their thing, and the Sonic franchise was still on top and doing amazing. And this game is also incredible and just a great level design and a lot of fun to play. And then next to that we have, and by the way, guys, this is not in alphabetical order, and I know some of you guys get triggered by that. Eventually I may go through and do what I did to the NES shelf. If you've seen our other collection videos, I have little custom alphabetical tabs that I've created for the NES collection, and I printed those out, and then I have them all alphabetical. I may do that to this shelf at some point. I'm not sure. This shelf is possibly in flux, as in it's kind of outgrowing the space, so I don't know if I'm going to have to find a different solution or not. So, I'll think about it. But yes, just, a little fair warning for you. Yes, it's not alphabetical. I realize that. Next to that, we have Eco the Dolphin. This game graphically was really incredible when it came out. Just an excellent game and a beautiful game to look at. Kind of cryptic gameplay. So it's, it's a little, as a kid playing this, it was a little bit confusing. Toe Jam and Earl. I mean, what can you say about Toe Jam and Earl? One of the best games on the system. Countless hours have been put into this game over the years. Both Leaf and I still enjoy playing it, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Just classic in every way. Love Toe Jam and Earl. Must have for the system. If you guys are new to collecting for Genesis, if you haven't played Toe Jam and Earl, go out, make that your top priority, I'd say. Then the sequel, Toe Jam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron. They changed up the gameplay completely from the first one and turned it into kind of a side-scrolling platformer. And I'll say this, at the time I was very disappointed in this game. I love the original, but in hindsight, I would say this is a good platformer in its own merit. It just was such a shift from the first game that I remember being very disappointed with it when it came out back in the early 90s. One of my favorite games of all time, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I still play this game all the time, love it. A huge amount of replay value in this game. It's got quite a bit of levels, 55 horror-filled levels, it says there. And that's a lot of levels for back in the day. I mean, that's a huge amount of gameplay for a Sega Genesis cart. And this is like an homage to all the B horror movies. And if you're a big fan of old horror movies, this game is just so much fun to play because basically every kind of old horror movie you can think of has been riffed on in this game. And it's just so much fun to play co-op. My buddies and I growing up used to play this all the time. And I still love it. What a great game. Now here's a game that they should make a sequel to. They did Toe Jam and Earl back in the groove recently. They should do a Zombies Ate My Neighbors Part 2. I don't know what you'd call it. Some catchy title. But that would be incredible. Talk about games that is primed to be remade. There we go. I'd kickstart that. And then we got Kid Chameleon. Now, I would say this is a slightly underrated game for this system. I think it gets a fair amount of love, but I don't know, is it considered one of the all-time classics on the system? I think it should be. It's definitely one of my favorite games on the system. And talk about replay value. This one has 103 levels. Can you believe that? 103 levels. I've never even beaten this game, and that's probably because there are so many levels. I would love to sit down and beat this game from start to finish one day. And I may have to cheat and use save states or something like that on the Retron 5. I don't know. I hate to do that. It would be nice to beat it, legitly on the Sega Genesis, but, who knows. It's a great game and so much fun. Platformer. It can get pretty hard, but amazing. Green Dog, the Beach Surfer Dude, great game. Loved it back in the day. A lot of fun. Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. Awesome title, awesome artwork, and a fun little game. And look at that. That's a lot of fun. I remember as a kid renting this and thinking that was pretty funny. Moving over, we got Chicon the Forever Man. Talk about awesome artwork. Look at that. There we go. Pretty sweet. Love this game. Next to that, we have some classics. Golden Axe and Golden Axe 2. Very fun. Beat 'em ups. Side-scrolling beat 'em ups. And, fantasy themed. You got dwarfs and you got little Arnold Schwarzenegger looking dudes. And a lot of fun. Magic and dragons and yada, yada, yada. Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2, I mean, what can be said about those games? As far as classic beat 'em ups, I mean, these are at the top of the heap in my opinion. I've played these so much over the years. I adore these games. And as far as soundtracks, Streets of Rage 2, Yuzo Koshiro, um, as good as it gets. I mean, these are really, when you think of classic video game soundtracks, Streets of Rage has to be up there at the top of the list. Altered Beast, this is an early game on the system. A lot of fun. It was an arcade game that Sega released, and then they ported it over to Sega Genesis. This is one of the early games that released on the system. I think it was a pack-in on the early bundles that they created, and definitely a cool game. Alien Storm, another great beat 'em up. Probably doesn't get as much love as like the Streets of Rage games, but if you like beat 'em ups, I definitely recommend Alien Storm. A lot of fun. Another early Sega Genesis game, eSWAT City Under Siege. That was another Sega arcade game that came to the Genesis. I don't remember if that was on the Master System or not, but I remember playing it. I think I rented that back in the day. Next to that is a great game, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Now, I am a kid of the 80s, and if you're a kid of the 80s, it's kind of hard not to be a big fan of Michael Jackson's music. And my first piece of music I ever owned actually was Michael Jackson's Bad on cassette tape. And as a kid, I was pretty enamored with him and his like concerts and his music and all that. And he was a big Sega fan, and he released a game. And here it is, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, and it's a great game. He nailed it. The music, the level design, everything about it, I think it's awesome. And it's definitely a gem in the collection, so that's cool to have. Next to that, we have Toki Going Ape Spit, awesome title to a game and a great platformer. And then we got Caliber 50, and that was a recent pickup on our On the Hunt episode. And I've already put a couple hours into playing that game. It's awesome. You're a little commando dude in the Vietnam jungles, and you're got your machine gun, and you're taking down bad guys and dodging bullets, and it's pretty sweet. Next to that, you got Decap Attack, great platformer, classic, love it. And then some awesome games on the system. Revenge of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer, and Shinobi 3. Love those games. I'm sure most of you have played them. They're amazing. Sunset Riders is next to that, and that was one of the games that we just got a box for, so stoked to have that in the box, and it's not down in the bottom of the shelf loose anymore, and I can check out that awesome artwork, so that's cool. Next to that, we got Tin Head, and this was a recent pickup on the Hunt. And then we got Wolfchild, and this was one of the inserts I just bought. And look at that artwork. Man, that is cool. I love that. And really stoked to have that in the box now on the shelf. X-Men, I had this game as a kid, and I really enjoyed this game. It's been a while since I played it, so I might have to play it again to see how I feel about it. Boy, I remember that poster. I might have that. Is it in here? Oh, man, it's not. I might have this poster from when I was a kid, and I think I might know where it is, so I'm gonna have to see if I have that. And if I have it, I'm putting it in that case. So that would be cool. Definitely, I think after I film this video, I'm gonna go into our little attic crawl space, and I think I know right where that might be. I might have the original poster from when I was a kid. Okay, I think it was hanging up in my room. I'm pretty sure, so it probably has some little thumbnail or thumbtack holes in the corners. Next to that is Shadow Blasters. And yeah, that was an interesting game. Where did I think we got this. Oh boy, we got this on the Hunt not that long ago. And I played it, and it was interesting, that's for sure. And I remember picking this up and just thinking, wow, that looks cool. Look at that. Pretty awesome artwork. I didn't really know anything about it. It was kind of a blind purchase. And then next to that, we're getting towards the end of this top row here. Earthworm Jim. Guys, let's talk about nostalgic, amazing platform games. I love this game. Earthworm Jim, so much fun, irreverent humor, amazing art design and level design, great music, sound effects. It's such a great game, and I absolutely love it. And then next to that, we have Earthworm Jim 2, which is a game that came in a cardboard box, and this one's actually like in pristine condition, so much so that I put it in a little clear protector to keep this box in good shape, because this one actually has some value in the cardboard box like that, in that condition. And of course, that's an excellent game, and I love me some Earthworm Jim. All right, moving down one row, we got Shadow of the Beast, and I don't really have much to say about this game. When did I get this? I don't even remember. This might be another blind purchase that I got on the Hunt. I'm going to have to play this, because I don't even remember what this plays like. So that's going to go on the list of games to play because I can't really recall what that's like. But here's a great game, Haunting, starring Poltergeist. This was on the wish list for quite a while of games that I wanted to pick up for the collection. And I'm just really happy to have this in the collection now because this is a really cool game. It's very unique, and it's not one that I played back in the day, but it's one that I became aware of as you collect games and you're part of a YouTube community and you watch other people pick up games. This is a game that I kept seeing come up on lists that people recommended. So I put it on the wish list and I tracked it down, and I'm really happy I did because it's awesome. Dragon's Revenge. This was another on hunt pickup, and this is a pinball game, and it's awesome. I like pinball, kind of old school pinball games, so like Sonic Spinball and stuff. Those are always a lot of fun. Very cool item here, John Hancock's Game Panic 2. We got this at the PRGE. It's the 2016 exclusive. You can see right there. And I always like not only supporting a really amazing human being who happens to be John Hancock, but picking these up for the collection because they are awesome. So it's kind of a win-win. And then this is I would say one of my favorite items in the Genesis collection. And this is courtesy of Mr. Wizard, who kindly sent this to Leaf and I. And this thing is awesome. Splatterhouse 2 and 3 combo cart. And it's got a little wizard sealed tag there. But, jeez, as I drop it. But what I wanted to show you is how awesome, look at that, blood splattered Splatterhouse artwork. And then this cart, look at this. Talk about, let me focus there, Splatterhouse 2 and 3, look at that thing. Boy, this is cool. I love this thing. This has got to be one of the cooler items in the Genesis collection. So very stoked on that. And thank you, Mr. Wizard, if you're watching, because that is an awesome item. Then we got a reproduction case here, but it is the original cart for Splatterhouse 3. So very cool. Definitely have to track down a original cart, or not cart, original insert for that and get it into an actual Genesis box. And then speaking of John Hancock, when we see him at these conventions and he's got a game, we usually try to pick it up. And this one's pretty cool because he went ahead and signed it for us. Thank you, John. And then I picked up number 33 out of 40, which I thought was appropriate. And this is Code Eliminator. And very cool. And just a nice additions to our Genesis collection. And then another reproduction case, obviously, but it is the real cart, Thunder Force 3. And if you like shooters, shmups, the Thunder Force games are awesome. All right, moving over, we got Contra Hardcore, awesome. Eternal Champions, Double Dragon 5, Mortal Kombat. I've got some of the fighting games all lined up here. Well, Contra isn't a fighting game, obviously, but this one, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. Now, I have a lot of nostalgia for both of these games, as I imagine a lot of you do. Mortal Kombat, I remember growing up going to a pizza parlor with my family and seeing a Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet. And it had just come out. This pizza parlor had the game right away. They bought a brand new machine. And I was really kind of enamored with that game because, it was violent. And it was really cool looking. And I love that, especially when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, and talk about, awesome. And they really upped their game with Mortal Kombat 2. So I have a lot of nostalgia for Mortal Kombat. And so much so I have a Mortal Kombat arcade 1-up cab down in the garage, which I have a little project going on with that, which you guys will see here pretty soon. I may be working on it and doing a little upgrade to that system. And you'll see soon enough. All right, so then I got Street Fighter 2, the Championship Edition, and I love these fighting games, this era of fighting games. If you're a kid that went to the arcades back in the day, you remember putting your quarter in line so that you could play a little Street Fighter 2 against your buddies or against random people in the arcade. And you can't go wrong with a little Street Fighter 2. Recent pickup, Slaughter Sport, have not played it. And from my understanding, from the comment section of our video, it's not very good. But it has some cool artwork. And yeah, it's nice to have it in the collection, even though it's, probably not very good. So, oh well. Okay, some pretty awesome RPGs coming up. Phantasy Star 2, Shining Force, classic. And then probably the most spendy game in our collection, Crusader of Senti. That guy. So the cart is original. The box, of course, is a reproduction because this did come in a cardboard box originally. But it's nice to have that original cart. And, that's up there on expensive Genesis games as far as legit releases, not including like the blockbuster carts or what Outback Joey, those carts and some of the test carts and stuff. It's Crusader, Senti, and Musha usually right up there at the top. And my number one item that I want in the collection, of course, is Musha. I've wanted it for years. I keep looking for a good deal on Musha. It's on eBay going for about $600 right now. And that's a tough pill to swallow for a Sega Genesis game. I've almost bought it several times. There's one time when I kicked myself for not buying it because the deal was good and I should have gotten it. It was like $300 or something like that. But I will get it. It's on the list. I can't wait to get it. But for now, I'll just be happy with what I have, obviously, because it's nice to have games like Crusader Senti in the collection. I don't think I'll ever track down the cardboard box in good shape, but who knows? It's possible. Now, do I have the manual? I can't remember. Let's see. Do I have the manual? No, I don't. But it's nice to have the cart. So, and guys, this is a good game. This is a lot of fun. I played all the way through this. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's a kind of a Zelda clone, really, but it's pretty awesome. Next to that, we have Thunder Force 2, classic shmup. We got Subterranea, Forgotten Worlds, one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera a little bit so you guys can see. And Forgotten Worlds is a classic. I've played it on the channel. I did a live stream where I played this. And yeah, you can't go wrong with little Forgotten Worlds. Awesome game. And it's been released on a lot of systems. We got Phelios, very cool. Stoked to have this in the collection. Biohazard Battle, Arrow Flash, and of course, the one and only Truxton. Talk about classic Genesis games. There you go. Look at that artwork. Sweet. And I do love me a little Truxton action. And this game is in awesome shape. So stoked to have that. And yeah, I'm on a mission to track down more Genesis shmups because they're some of my favorite games on the system. All right, moving down towards the bottom here, we got some games in cardboard boxes. Now you can see what I'm talking about with these condition. These boxes get a little beat up over the years, but we got Battleship, we got Clue. Now Clue, this was actually a gift from the Q Dogs. Thank you guys, and that's really nice of them. And that box is actually in really good shape. And next to that, we have Comic Zone. I love that game. It's hard. It's really hard, but the art style on Comic Zone is amazing. If you haven't played Comic Zone, I definitely recommend it. Next to that is Road Rash 2. Awesome games. Motorcycle, combat, racing. Do love me some Road Rash. And then we got some sports. You could probably call this a little pickle juice. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. Because you know what? Sega Genesis, it's a lot of the games back in the day for the Sega Genesis were sports games. And it was actually known for its sports games. And if you liked sports and you wanted to play some video games, you had to have yourself a Sega Genesis back in the day because that's where the sports games were at. And there were some good ones. I would say my favorite out of the sports games, at least back when I had a Genesis, definitely was NBA Jam, which we have the tournament edition right there. And this game is awesome. I love this game. I enjoy playing it even now. But we also have Madden 95. We got a little baseball action, a little Sunday Fever NFL action. And then we've got Cyberball, Hard Drive, and RBI Baseball 3. Next to that, Combat Cars, James Pond. I do like the James Pond games, a lot of fun. Crash Test Dummies. And these are a lot of these games over here, like James Pond and Crash Test Dummies, I rented, I think, at Blockbuster and enjoyed playing them that way. And then we got Krusty's Funhouse, Asterix, Columns, which is kind of Sega's answer to Tetris, I suppose, and a lot of fun. We got Pitfall, and then you can kind of see it poking in the corner there, a little Alien 3 action. And I'm kind of a super fan of Aliens, the movies, and anything Alien, I'm going to pick up because I love Alien. I watch these movies a lot. I probably watch them too much. First one, of course, being a classic. Second, one of the great action movies. And the third one gets a little grief, but you know what, guys? I like Alien 3. Early David Fincher film. It's got some flaws. It's not perfect. It's dark. It's depressing. But it's still awesome. And yeah, it's nice to have this game. As I said, if it's Alien and I see it and the price is right, I'm probably going to pick it up. Next to Alien, we have Batman. It's a little Batman Forever action. We've got Quackshot. Oh boy, Quackshot. Talk about fun. Games that I played as a kid. I love this game. This is one of the great Disney games on the system. Maybe my favorite Disney game on the system. That's saying something because we're, Aladdin, Lion King, the Mickey games. There's a lot of Fantasia. There's a lot of really quality first-party Disney Sega Genesis games. And this is probably my favorite. I love Quackshot. Great game. A lot of fun. Next to that is Cool Spot Marble Madness, a game I played a lot in arcade. You know what, though? For Marble Madness, you really got to have that trackball to play that, I think. Animaniacs, World of Illusion, Tailspin, Jurassic Park, and, as a kid, growing up, Jurassic Park, love the movie, and a lot of fun. This game is hard. It's really hard. But I picked this up when it came out because I remember waiting in a long line to see the original movie, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So when this came out, I was picking this up, and yeah, so a lot of nostalgia there. Beavis and Butthead, talk about hard games. There's another hard game. Mickey Mania, Lion King, Fantasia, and Arrow the Acrobat. All right, guys, we're moving down to the bottom row where all the loose games are, and I apologize for this extreme camera angle, but this is as low as the tripod will go. So we've got some reproduction carts here. We've got a little Fix-It Felix Jr. Very cool. Let's see, we picked this up from the Nintendo Doctor, that's right, at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So thank you, Nintendo Doctor. Stoked to have this in our collection. And I love Fix-It Felix Jr. This is a cool game. And then we got a bunch of loose carts here. I'm just going to go through them as quickly as possible. We got Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune, we got Caesar's Palace, Monopoly, Menacer, Super Volleyball. We've got, what is this? Stargate. Cool movie. I need to play that Stargate game. I don't remember if that's any good or not. X-Men 2. We got The Last Battle. We got Ren and Stimpy, one of my favorite cartoons. We got Pac-Man. We got Tasmania 2. We got Tiny Toons, Buster's Hidden Treasure. We got T2, the arcade game. We got Toy Story. And a little cliffhanger action. Awesome. Great movie. Excuse me. Yeah, I love, action movies of this era are like my favorite, so I definitely had to get that. That was one that I don't know if I owned it or I rented it. I actually own this on Sega CD. That's right. And it's a lot better on Sega CD, I think. Desert Demolition. We got Super Hang-On. We got the one and all, what is this? Brutal Paws of Fury. There we go. We got Batman Returns. Oscar's over here making lots of noise. We got Tasmania. Now he's crawling up on me. He wants a little attention, apparently. Hey, bud. We got Vector Man. We got the Ooze. There's some good games I need to get boxes for here. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Garfield, Caught in the Act. Predator 2. Here's a game. We got this from John Riggs. That's right. Thanks, John. Streets of Rage 2, The Simpsons. Streets of Rage 2 Simpsons Edition. And it's basically Streets of Rage 2, but you play as the Simpsons characters. And it's a lot of fun. Leaf and I have enjoyed playing that. And then, oh yeah, I already got that. Predator 2. We got Garfield. I already said that. I'm juggling a dog and trying to reach for these games down here. It's easier said than done. Aladdin. Classic. Now, talk about games that we need to get a box for. Jeez. Rystar. This one deserves a box and a manual because it's an amazing game. One of the best on the system. And then last but not least, the last games in the Genesis collection. Here they are. There's some of these, big old electronic art carts. We got Bubsy, James Pond, Might and Magic, Desert Strike, and James Pond, the Aquatic Games. And guys, that is the Sega Genesis collection. Let me pan up a little bit give you a better view. There we go. And yeah, that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye.